podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hello, I'm your host, Les Bubka. Welcome to Anxious Black Belt, a podcast that focuses on karate, mental health, and everything in between. If you enjoy our content and would like to support us, best way to do that is to listen to another episode, share it with your friends, and leave us a review. All this stuff helps the mysterious algorithm to introduce our podcast to new audience. Thank you for joining me, and let's listen to the episode. Hi guys, so today's episode is a kind of thought written down after conversations about a karate organization around the world with few friends, and how is it a kind of going in the wrong directions again. It kind of goes in cycle in my opinion. So today's episode is The Knight in Shining Armor, a closer look at the karate culture. In the karate community, the image of senseis as knights in shining armor is a powerful metaphor. It conjures up ideas of honor, discipline, and diligence, qualities that many of us aspire to embody in our practice and in our lives. Senseis are viewed as guardians and mentors, guiding students through the complexities of both martial arts and personal growth. But when we examine the culture surrounding this image more closely, we find that it's not always as noble as it appears. If you're interested in more in details, I committed a book called The Dark Side of the Karate. So it's kind of in relation to this one. So the ideal versus the reality, the sensei's role. In theory, a sensei is meant to be a beacon of integrity and source of wisdom. They are tasked with teaching not just the technique of karate, but also the principles of respect, humility, and self improvement. These values are intended to empower students, shaping them into not only skilled martial artists, but also well rounded individuals. However, the reality can sometimes tell a different story. In many dojos, the focus on discipline can morph into a rigid hierarchy where respect is demanded rather than earned. Some senseis, driven by their ego, may place their own status above the development of their students. This can create an environment where intimidation is mistaken for respect, where students are expected to comply without question, fostering a culture of fear rather than one of growth. Reflecting on personal experiences within the dojo can reveal the complexities of these relationships. Many of us may have trained under a sensei who prioritized their reputation over nurturing students. Perhaps they belittled students for mistakes or demanded excessive obedience without providing constructive feedback. Such experiences can leave lasting impression, eroding trust and stifling personal growth. Cult mentality. As we delve deeper, we confront a more troubling phenomenon: the emergence of cult-like dynamics within certain karate organizations. When a sensei's ego becomes the driving force, it can lead to an environment where manipulation and control flourish. Students might find themselves in an insular space where questioning authority is not just discouraged, it's often punished. The mantra, trust your sensei, they know what's best for you, becomes the tool for maintaining control. While trust is an essential component of any mentor-student relationship, this kind of blind trust can be dangerous. Consequences of the blind trust. This culture can lead to emotional and physical abuse. Students may be made to feel inadequate or shamed for not meeting unrealistic expectations set by their sensei. Instead of a supportive community where individuals can learn and grow, this dojo can become toxic environments rife with fear and anxiety. For example, a student may be pressured to push beyond their limits in training, resulting in injuries that could have been avoided. Or they might be subject to public humiliation during class, causing lasting damage to their self esteem and their mental well being. Cultivating awareness and accountability. So, how do we counter these negative trends? The first step is fostering awareness and accountability within our dojo. Here are several actionable steps we can take. Encourage open dialogue. Create a culture when students feel safe expressing their concerns. Encourage open dialogue. Creating a culture where students feel safe expressing their concerns. Regularly scheduled discussions or feedback session can provide a platform for students to voice their thoughts without fear or retribution. Promote a growth mindset. Shift the focus from rank and accolades to effort and improvement. Celebrate milestones whenever they are small achievements in technique or personal breakthroughs to encourage resilience and love for learning. Foster community values. Emphasize collective growth over individual achievement. Organize group training sessions, social events, or community outreach programs to build camaraderie and reinforce the idea that everyone is on their own unique journey. Seek mentorship beyond the dojo. Encourage students to connect with martial artists from various backgrounds. This exposure can offer diverse perspective on the role of a sensei and highlight the qualities of a true mentor: compassion, patience, and the commitment to the well-being of their students. Stand up against toxicity. Create a culture that does not tolerate abusive behavior. Establish clear guidance of what constitutes acceptable conduct, and empower students to report any incidents without fear of backlash. Embracing true martial art values. Ultimately, being a martial artist transcends mere technical skills. It's about embodying values like character, integrity, and respect for oneself and others. By challenging toxic dynamics and promoting a healthier dojo culture, we can reclaim the noble idea associated with the knight in shining armor. So, this is a kind of outline of what we can do and how it really is. And it is shocking to still learn that so many instructors within the martial arts are doing such a horrible things, children abuse, taking their financial gains from scamming their students and ripping them off and belittling them, and online behaviors. Again, there was brought up one of the prominent sensei swearing and sending abusive messages to people online who dare to question him. So it is a kind of really difficult space to be. There's lots of good instructors, good teachers, and as always, the few negative spoil the view and the image of our martial art. Like I said, if you would like to read more in depth about the behind the curtains, behind the scenes, what's happening in the karate, I've been in several organizations and seen the power play, the nastiness, the abuse. And I wrote the book. It's called The Dark Side of Karate, and it's available on Amazon or from my shop. If you would like to have a look at that, it's only like £8 or £10, so not much of the expense, but it goes in depth of what's going on behind the scenes and how people being deceiving other people through a long time in martial arts, pretending the humility, being the modest, and suddenly when they got a little bit of a power, they show their true face and spoiling the training and environment for everybody, and being a very abusive and power driven and money driven or whatever you want. So I hope you enjoyed this one, very short one today. I'm just going to be recording a interview with the guest that should be going either next week or when they have their video ready. So we haven't decided yet what we're going to do. It's to promote their video. They done the experience and they will share. So we're either going to do a podcast to promote that, or it's going to go together. So I'm not sure how it's going to work. Well done for listening to all of it. You are a superhero. Thank you very much for your support. And if you could leave us that review on a podcast platform, that would be amazing. I appreciate your time, appreciate your support, and I wish you all the best until the next one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.